Hello and welcome back to the channel. I've made a start on the sky, which was originally like that, which was originally like that. The idea now is to take you round the corner where those black lines are. Well, they're not black lines really, they look black in the light, but they're actually very dark grey. On the corner here, I shall be moving right round. So from here, I've got heavy clouds, I shall be moving round to lighter clouds in this area here. So let's get started. And that's the very heavy sky that I've painted there. That shows the heavy clouds coming over the mountains and ready to drop its rain on us. Well, on the model. And as I pan around, you see the clouds start to thin out a little bit until I get to this corner. And you saw me start to paint that corner in a moment ago. And I shall now continue on with a bit of painter's gog in the right angle of that wall and the partition that comes from the right to the left. Got that crease showing. I'm going to try and take that out right now. I've now completed the caulking in the corner there. I'm just about to start painting on the return wall, which will actually have a bit of sun coming through the clouds. I kind of like that idea a little bit, and the next few photographs will show that in development. And here is the start of the sun coming through the clouds. It doesn't look particularly pretty at the moment, but trust me, it will develop. There's a little bit of work to do just over here. Well, look, I've even painted my fingers. A little bit of work to do just here. And as I am going to say now, down here. I'm going to do a perspective sky there, so nothing heavy, but just enough to portray distance along the mountains of Snowdonia. The colour I'm using is ultramarine, I'll say that again, ultramarine blue in a white emulsion. The ultramarine blue is actually watercolour. And it's very much watered down in the white paint. A little bit of yellow in there from the previous work. Not too worried about that. That's the paint. I'll do a little bit more in there. That is like a pigment for the white, really. I put plenty of white in there to make it quite light. So a big brushful, and I'll mix it in. See that there? You got a good idea of how it's going to dry up. You do it thin in the pot. Well, in this case, it's an ice cream tub. It's not, it's a sandwich box. And I get covered in paint. I'm going to put a little bit of water in that just to make it a little less sticky but more sort of fluid. It's a dirty water actually, but that doesn't really matter too much. Got a little bit of grey in there too, because the skies at a distance generally aren't blue. You'll find if you really look at the horizon, there'll be the dove grey, a light, I put grey in there, and I made grey in that, a light grey, sort of a violety colour. So that's nicely mixed in. Where I painted up here, I'll continue to do so. I'm not too worried about it being dark, because I can lighten that later when it's dry. You see that's got that sort of violety, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but a sort of a violety light, almost lavender colour. Yeah, so that'll go right up there. So the same along here. I'll let that dry as it's emulsion paint, and I'll come back and put some white clouds on it. Yeah, just see how my fancy takes me. I'm going to use a hairdryer to dry it off a bit quickly, so I can continue with the video. Right, come back when I've finished the drying process. Now this little bit of dove grey, lilac-y colour I painted in around the bottom and around the bottom of the clouds and the top of the mountains is dry. I'm going to detail it a little bit, not too heavily, with some white and off-white. I've already done this piece here. I'm just going to do the bit into the corner. Just dabbing on the white, nothing too spectacular. And this is a little 1/2 inch flat brush I'm using. I'm laying the brush on its side to pat almost the wall. This breaks up the grey a little bit. I'm going to call that it in the next couple of brushfuls, and carry on over there by the cut in the mountain. I'll do the distant clouds. Down the bottom here, there will be a lot of distant cloud welling up or passed by, even and gone down towards the coast. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is just paint in the mountains in the distance. black and dark brown watercolour, and a little bit of that and a bit of white. So and up here I'll be painting that green, well, maybe a dirty green, and put back what I painted by mistake with paintbrush, the white sky. So hopefully that'll dry in nicely. And there's another little mountainous area here. Like so. I'm going to use a maul stick on here, because a maul stick is a padded stick that I can rest my arm on when I'm painting in finer details. Let's get that in there. Yeah, that's it. So you've got a lighter bit here, and there will be a bit of a shadow coming through on there, across there like so. Bring that down there like that. So that's where the mountains and to some extent the spoil tips that North Wales seen as got so many of, although they are now growing over and becoming less because they're using the slate, or the rejected slate from years ago, for things like decorative slate in gardens and the like. So that's sorted that pretty much. I'm just going to have another little go at that sky. Not 100% happy with that. I'll just wash my brush out and get as much white rather than messed around with white, shall we say. What I say. Brighter white there. And brighter clouds up top of the cloud there. And there. And along that. There we've got a dark underbelly. Turn the brush over and you get that sort of effect. So there we are. Oh, no, maybe not quite. It's one there I'd like to add better. So, I messed about with the green a bit there, so I need to put that back. There we are. So that's pretty much it as far as the landscape is painted. Just check it all over before I say that's done. No, I see another little piece. You see, you never finish. You think you have and you spot something else, and that something else is just in front of me, just here. There we go. I'll need the maul stick just to carry on up over the top here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Share it as far and wide as you possibly can. It helps the channel grow and spread the word.